Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukana-Funoro Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by the Chairman Appropriation Committee. I so second.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Betara, please lay your report. The first order of the day is consideration of two reports of the Committee on Finance. Honorable James Abiodo Falike to move for their consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Once again, I'm Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida Bakokacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to amend relevant tax, excise, and duty statutes in line with the macroeconomic policy reforms of the federal government to amend and make further provisions in specific laws in connection with the public financial management of the Federation. Mr. Speaker, I so submit. Mr. Speaker, I also rise to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Finance on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The total revenue of 262,959,510,955 naira only is for, out of which 126,070,912,538 naira only is for overhead costs, and the sum of 40,827,033,352 naira only is for capital expenditure for the service year ending December 2023. Mr. Speaker, I so submit.
Honorable Mohammed Al-Khali, please second the two motions.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my name is Honorable Muhammad Adam Al-Khali, Basajos North Federal Constituency, Plateau State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleague. The two. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Second order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Appropriations of the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 819,533,937,813 naira only, which is for capital expenditure. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 28 December 2022. Honorable Betara will now move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mukhtar Betara Liu. I represent the good people of the Bayo Kusasha and Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that this House do consider the report of Committee on Appropriations on 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill to authorize the issue from Consolidated Revenue Fund the sum of 819,536,937 naira 813 naira only. Approve the total sum of 819,536,937,813 naira only for the mentioned ministries. Foreign Ministry of Agriculture, 69,247,175 naira 770. Foreign Ministry of Works, 704,718,762,043. Federal Capital, 30 billion. Federal Ministry of Water Resources, 15,500,000. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Maki Yeleman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my names are Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamudori Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues, I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my senior colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Leader, please can you move that the House resolve into the Committee of the Whole of Supply?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. Ameja Hababao is my name. I represent Chibok, Dambua, and Goza Federal Constituency. I rise to move that the House do empathize to the Committee of Supply to consider the two reports. I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Johnson, please second.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is Abdulgani Johnson. I represent the good people of Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency 2. I rise to support the motion ably moved by the House Leader. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. The House hereby resolves into the Committee of Supply. Okay, Finance. Let's just go straight to your recommendations in, on the bill. SMA.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have, as has become customary, we have a proposal from the executive on which has been termed Finance Bill 2022. The bill seeks to support the implementation of the 2023 federal budget of fiscal consolidation and transition by proposing key reforms to specific tax, customs, and fiscal and other relevant laws. There are about 11 laws which the bill seeks to amend, which consist of about 28 clauses. The proposals include amendment to the capital gains tax, company income tax, custom, excise, and tariff act, personal income tax, petroleum profit tax, stamp duties act, value added tax, corrupt practices and other related offenses act, public procurement act, and Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act, and Tertiary Education Tax Trust Fund Act. The bill seeks to reduce the tax losses with an aim to increase FGN revenues and reduce the fiscal deficit as contained in the FTF document. So, as stated, Chair, the bill has 11 amendments to some key acts and with 28 clauses. So the Chair may wish to consider and approve the proposals. Thank you.
My concern about the accommodations is this. We are supposed to be concerned now at this stage with the main act, the bills they are making the amendment, because it's supposed to be repeal and reenactment of the various laws to take care of your concerns, not coming through this way. Do you have the bills now standing with the various recommendations as contained in your own work? But this is not what we are supposed to be doing here. We are supposed to be going into the main act to pass them, not this one. This cannot take care of the amendments of the act.
Look.
Mr. Chairman, sir, thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you for giving me the floor. My name is Onofiok Akpanluk, and by the grace of God, I hold the mandate of the people of Etinan, Nsiribom Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Chairman, the finance bill has to do with the macroeconomic policies for 2023. And then that is going to affect the lives of Nigerians. Already, the economy and the situation from globally to nationally has affected the lives of poor Nigerians. And so any action we are going to take to lay a foundation for government expenditure for 2023 should consider leveraging and then mitigating the hardship that Nigerians are facing, not to act in a way that will increase that hardship, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chairman, this bill here seeks to make amendment, just like the DS has said, to certain provisions of very statutory legislations. Mr. Chairman, for example, clauses 19 through 26 is making very fundamental amendment to the Federal Inland Revenue Service Establishment Act. This is an act that stands the test of time, and we are using a piece of legislation that is going to last only for a year to make critical amendment to a piece of legislation that has been over time. Mr. Speaker, sir, clause 2829 has made provisions or made allusion to petroleum profit tax as against the provisions of the Petroleum Industry Act, which has come to take as an umbrella of pre-existing legislations that has to do with the petroleum industry. And so we need time, Mr. Chairman. If we come this morning, and it's only this morning that we are being given this report, I don't think we have enough time to study this and then come out with a good position
that will make for the well-being and welfare of Nigerians in 2023. So I am asking, sir, and I'm asking in the bit of this. I have the floor. I have the floor, and I cannot be stampeded. So, Mr. Chairman, what I'm saying, we should act in a way that will that will mitigate the hardship that Nigerians are already facing. We should act in a way to clear the queues in the filling stations. We should act in a way to reduce tax burden on Nigerians while we need revenue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Those are my humble submissions, sir.
Sorry, sir. Honorable Luke, that is not the direction I'm pointing. The direction I was pointing was to the effect that we are supposed to have a compendium of this sort, which is now given. So what I will beg, Mr. Chairman, sir, is for us now to go through clause by clause and pass it, and then tax the committee again to go back and take other bills that they have now taken these amendments from to do repeal and enactment. They will come back to the floor, and that will be a perfect job. Until, yes, sorry, sir, until that one is done, this may not stand the test of time. But please, sir, you have cooperated.
Order, please. Honorable Luke, please, order.
We are talking about procedure so that whatever we are doing will stand the test of time. And we have cooperated. What we are doing is not for today. We are doing it for tomorrow. And the primary objective of any government is the welfare. But again, you cannot maintain the welfare and security when you do not have funds to maintain the system. We have to look inward. I want to beg for that understanding. Thank you. I think we can go, sir.
And
From where?
Honorable Luke, really, the stage we're in is consideration of report. The stage of debate on the merits and demerits of the bill has passed. The only thing you can do now, when we go through clause by clause, is to either amend or whatever clause, any clause that you object to. Unfortunately, the horse has already left the stable, so we cannot now go back to the point of this is to be done at the second reading of the bill. But although your point is not lost at all on me in terms of the substance and what should be done, what should not have been done, that point is not lost. But unfortunately, procedurally, we have to stick to our procedure. So at this point, honorable members, I have a very urgent meeting along the lines also of what we discussed earlier. So I'm going to ask that we suspend our rules to allow the Deputy Speaker. We have 3 matters for the Committee of Supply. The Deputy Speaker will handle it and will close the House today until the 17th of January. I'm not going to put the question because I don't understand you people today. So the rules are suspended and the Deputy Speaker will take over.
Respected colleagues, in this regard, I will defer also the financial bill is what we are going to do for the Constitution now. Clause 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 10 to 15, 16 to 20, 25, 20 to 25, 26 to 30, 36 to 40, 41 to 44. Explanatory memoranda. Long title. Thank you. Respected colleagues, the second order of the sorry, it's not second order. The second report to be considered is that of the Committee on Finance on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the total sum of 262,999,510,955 naira only, for out of which 120,920,538 naira only is for personnel costs, while the sum of 96,61,565,065 naira only is for overhead costs, and the sum of 40,827,023,352 naira only is for capital expenditure for the service year ending 2023. I now invite the Deputy Speaker, Deputy Chairman, to give the synopsis of the report.
Thank you, Chair. I remain Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida Bakokacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Chair, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Chair, the report under consideration is the budget proposals which has been considered by the Committee on Finance for Federal Inland Revenue Service. Mr. Chair, FRS is run through cost of collection, and the projection for the year 2023 is put at 262.96 billion, out of which personnel costs we carry 126.07 billion, overhead 96.06 billion, and capital costs of 40.83 billion. Mr. Chair, the assumptions are predicated on the following assumptions: revenue due to the service in respect of import VAT, net of 2% payable to Nigerian Customs Service, company income tax, VAT plus receivables, stamp duties, electronic money transfer levy, personal income tax of foreigners, and leveraging on relevant provisions of Finance Acts of 2019, 2020, 2021, and the proposed 2022 Finance Act. Mr. Speaker, the report has been submitted. We crave the indulgence of the House to consider and approve the report so that FRS will come back to the January to December cycle, just as the national budget. I so submit, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Respected colleagues, the question now is that the following stand part of the report. Personnel costs 126,070,912,538 naira carried. Overhead costs 96,61,565,065 naira carried. Capital cost 40,827,033,352 naira carried. Total 262,959,510,955 naira carried. Thank you. My respected colleagues, the third report to consider is that of Committee on Appropriation on the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 19,533,937,813 naira only, which is for the capital expenditure, and I now invite Honorable Mukhtar Betera to give the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chairman, my colleagues, you may recall the 2022 supplementary appropriation bill in the sum of 819,536,937,813 naira only, of which capital expenditures was read in the first time on Wednesday, 21st December 2022, when the Speaker of the House read and the communication of Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, forwarding the bill. The House subsequently read the bill the second time and referred it to the Appropriation Committee for further legislative action. Fundamentally, the bill seeks to, among other things, make available additional funds to cushion the effects of 2022 flood on the road infrastructure, agriculture, water, and completion of some ongoing critical projects that has achieved 85% completion. Considering the fact that committee was mandated to report on the bill the next legislative day, it should be noted that supplementary bill will be financed through additional domestic borrowings, which will raise the 2022 to 8.17 trillion only, and a deficit GDP to 4.43%. The Joint Committee sat and acted on the bill as mandated by the House. The committee observed the following: the effects of the 2022 flood across the country and its attendant consequences on the roads, bridges, farmlands, and water sector necessitated the supplementary appropriation bill. MDS involved in the supplementary appropriation bill's requests are Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, Federal Ministry of Water Resources. The Appropriation Committee, having considered the detailed provisions of the bill, the contribution of its subcommittee, and general impact it makes in ameliorating the havoc caused by flood across the country, and recommended the following for various MDS. The bill for an act to issue the consolidated revenue fund the sum of 819,536,937,813 naira only. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture with 69 billion, Federal Ministry of Works and Housing 704, Federal Capital Territory 30 billion, and Federal Ministry of Water Resources 15.5 billion. I wish to thank the committee for working around the clock and in order to meet time given by the House and process of bill. I also respectively thank the leadership of the House for the support and cooperation accorded to the committee. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Head boy. Colleagues. Yes, sir.
An observation.
Observation?
Yes, on the report. This report. Yes, I know, but it's not signed by the chairman himself.
I think it's only a copy that the chairman didn't sign.
That's why I say observation.
No,
observation.
no, it's just. Thank you. You can approach the chair for him to sign your own.
Okay.
It's just your own. And I pray that what you have is what we have. Thank you. You got their own yesterday or today? Are you sure? Okay. Colleagues, recommendation 1, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, 69,247,175,770 naira carried. Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, 704,789,762,043 naira carried. Federal Capital Territory, 30 billion carried. Federal Ministry of Water Resources, 15,500 million carried. Thank you. Can I? Oh, okay, she one main budget. Leader, move that the House revert to plenary to report progress.
Yes. Right Honorable Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I rise to move that the House do revert to plenary and report progress.
Minority Leader, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shimilifera constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader that will revert to plenary to report progress. I so second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. House is hereby to revert to plenary to report progress. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to amend the relevant tax, excise, and duty statutes in line with the microeconomic policy. In the forms of the federal government to amend and to make further provisions in specific laws in connection with the public financial management of the Federation and for matters. Approved clauses 1 to 44, explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of Supply consider the report of the Committee on Finance on the issue from the Statutory Revenue Fund of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the total sum of 262,959,510,955 naira only, for out of which 126,770,912,538 naira only is for personal costs, while the sum of 96,61,565,065 naira only is for overhead costs, and for the sum of 40,827,033,352 naira only is for capital expenditure for the service year ending December 2022. Approved recommendations 1 to 3 of the report. Respected colleagues, lastly, the House and the Committee of Supply consider the report of the Committee on Appropriation on the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Bill to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund the total sum of 819,536,937,813 naira only. Approved recommendations 1 to 4 of the report. Leader, move for the adoption of the report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I remain Honorable Ado Dogwa, Mr. Speaker. Honorable members representing Chudunwada Dogwa Federal Constituency. My respected colleagues, I am from Kano State. I rise to move that the report of the Committee of the Whole be Committee of Supply, Mr. Speaker, be adopted. Mr. Speaker, I so respectfully move.
I think you should a little bit be patient to wait for the next session, if you are lucky. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndudi Godwin Elmelu, and I represent the good people of Anocho Shimilifera constituency. I'm from Delta State. I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader that will adopt all the proceedings from the Committee of Supply. I so second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. My respected colleagues, we have a supplementary order paper. And the next business of the day is presentation of one bill. I now invite the clerk to read its short title.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023. Second reading.
Respected colleagues, the next business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 21,227,188,747,391 naira only, of which 967,484,10,536 naira only is for the statutory transfers. 6,557,597,611,797 naira only is for debt service. 8,329,370,195,637 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,972,734,000,000 that's what I said. 929,421 naira.
Honorable Chinere,
contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2023. Standing in the name of Honorable Mukhtar Aliu Batira, all members will recall that the bill was referred to the committee on Thursday, please. 12 October 2022. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Aliu is invited to present the report.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Mukhtar Aliu. I represent the good people of Bibayo Kwakusar Shani. Mr. Speaker, the House do receive report on Committee on Appropriations for bill for an act to authorize the issuance of Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation to the tune of 21,827,187,747,391 naira only, of which 967,486,10,536 naira only, which it is for statutory transfers. 6,557,597,611,797 naira only is for debt service. 8,329,370,195,637 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,972,734,929,421 naira only is for contribution to development fund for the capital expenditure for the year ended 31st December 2023. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Seconder, Honorable Yusuf.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that, to second a motion heavily moved by the Chairman House Committee on Appropriation. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Chairman, you may go ahead and lay a report. Respected colleagues, the next order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principle of bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 in order to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023, standing in the name of the House Leader. All members record the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 28th December 2022. I invite the leader to move that the bill be read the second time.
Bill now.
Okay, now. Mr. Speaker, by extension, but Mr. Speaker, I would like to be guided once again, sir. Please.
The second reading of the bill to extend the Appropriation Act implementation for 2022 to 31st March 2023.
It's all right, sir.
That is what I have here as in the bill.
Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Item number 4 on the order paper, Mr. Speaker, is a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st of December 2022 to 31st day of March 2023. Mr. Speaker, I move for its second reading. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
But Osai, I know you are on your way in, so I will give you that opportunity. He's already halfway in, 3/4. You say what? We have taken with honors.
Distinguished honorable colleagues, to second the motion heavily moved by the leader of the Great House. I so second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion, the bill be read second and say aye. Against say nay. The nays? Okay, that's it. Clerk is invited to read the long title of the bill.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023. Second reading.
Bill referred to Committee on Supply. Respected colleagues, the next order of the day is consideration of a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 in order to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023. All members will recall that the bill was committed to Committee of the Supply on Tuesday, 28 December 2022, the leader will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I rise once again to move that a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st of December 2022 to 31st of March 2023 be considered by this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
You want to cross over? Also, I have done that. I'm seeing somebody from Rivers. I think if you want to cross over, you are free to second the motion. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleague.
Are you crossing over? This leadership.
Oh, I thought you should second the motion.
Are you crossing over?
Let me second the motion first.
Are you crossing over?
We are crossing over in 2 times.
Thank you. Osai, you have the floor. You have the dignified opportunity. Osai.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
Thank you for the protection and love. I rise to second the motion. Every move by the great leader of the great house, I so second.
Colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. My brother from Benue. You say what? No, he's already of the majority. Respected colleagues, the next order of the day, consideration of report of the Committee on Appropriation on the bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, the total sum of 21,837,188,747,391 naira, only of which 967,484,010,536 naira only is for statutory transfer, 6,557,597,611,719 and 97 naira only is for debt service, 8,329,195,637 naira only is for the current debt, for the current non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,972,734,939,431 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for the capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2023. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 28th December 2022. Honorable Mukhtar Butera will move for its consideration.
Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, this bill has been read. I want the Speaker to do consider this report. Be taken as read. I think it's exclusive. I so move.
Another set of rule?
No, sir. It's just to shorten it. To save time.
Thank you. With the leave of the House, yes. If you agree, seconder. Comrade.
To second now. There is no shut up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, honorable comrade Chinedu Oga Owen. I represent Ikwo Ezasa Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion able moved by the Chairman Committee on Appropriation. I hereby second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Don't worry, we shall have nay on my brother. I've taken note of you. So when it comes to your online items, we'll put a nay there. Respected colleagues, the House leader will move that the House do resolve into the Committee of the Supply to consider reports.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues. I rise as directed by the Speaker that this House, this Honorable House, do resolve to committee of the whole to consider committee of supply to consider reports. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Respected colleagues, seconder of the motion, exalted Osai Osai.
We are growing in weather or in width. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the great leader of this great house. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The House is hereby into committee of supply to consider reports. The protocol is a bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 in order to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023. I now invite the leader to give the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I think this is a very straightforward bill, and it's for the government to allow for completion of very key and critical projects. And it will also cover some of our projects in terms of constituency projects, Mr. Speaker and Mr. Chairman, and that this extension will definitely do a lot of good for the benefit of the people. And you may have heard the members when it was read to now cover from 31st of December to 31st of March. Members were even asking that let's extend it to April. But for now, since this is the communication we have received from the Ministry of Finance, and it has been captured as such, I would like to plead with members to allow this bill to go for the common interest of our people. I so plead. Thank you.
Thank you. I do not think the capital element of the constituency project is up to 0.01% of the national budget. So we are doing this in the interest of our own national interest of the government and our people. Thank you. Clause 1. Clause 2, Clause 3, explanatory memoranda, long title of the bill. Thank you. Respected colleagues, the next report to be considered is that of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 21,128,747,391 naira only, of which 997,484,10,536 naira only is for such transfers. 6,557,611,797 naira only is for debt service. 8,321,371,070,000 195,637 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,732,734,929,421 naira only is for contribution to development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2023. I now invite Honorable Mukhtar Betera to give the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, Mr. Speaker, having thoroughly examined the reports and inputs of subcommittees, the committee hereby recommends to the House to approve the bill for an act to authorize the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation for the sum of 21,827,188,747,391 naira only, which 967,486,10,536 naira is for statutory transfers. 6,557,611,797 naira only is for debt service, while 8,329,370,195,637 naira only is for recurrent expenditure, while the sum of 5,972,734,929,421 naira only is for the contribution to development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2023. Mr. Chairman, my colleagues, on behalf of the Appropriation Committee, we wish to thank the Speaker of the House and the entire leadership of the House for the support given to the committee in processing the bill. We also appreciate the cooperation of and understanding of our appropriations subcommittees and our colleagues who submitted and defended their reports after weeks of rigorous budget engagement activities. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Respected colleagues, recommendation 1. What is recommendation 1? Fulata, guide us. Guide us, Fulata. Recommendation 1 carried that the Accountant General of the shall, when authorized to do so, warrant signed by minister charged with responsibility. That's Abla. Thank you. Recommendation 2 carried. Huh? You say? They are all under recommendation 1. Yes, that's recommendation 2. Thank you. Carried. Recommendation 3, environment. Carried. Recommendation 4, corrigendum. Exercise. Recommendation 5, excess revenue. Sorry. Carried. Recommendation 6, authorization. Carried. Recommendation 7, information on funds releases. Carried. Carried. Recommendation 8. Recommendation 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Colleagues, we'll now go to the schedules. Part A, carried. B, deductions, carried. C, Part D, Part E, Part F, Part G, Part H, Part 1, others, carried. Carried. Expenditures. Part J carried. K, L, M, N, O, P. Thank you. Then schedule. Part A carried. 1 to 3. Share of the Federation revenue 7,444,307,009,268 naira. Carried. Deductions 3,048,994,994,000 3,048,994,742,296 naira. Carried. Thank you. Shares of the share net of the Federation revenues 4,392,312,266,972 naira. Carried. Carried. This is what will be called Mutar magic. Independent revenues 2,217,274,500 naira. Carried. Thank you. Part E 7,226,385,750 naira. Carried. Aid and grants 43,023,488,073 naira. Carried. Special levies, account transfers to consular revenue funds of Federation 300 billion. Carried. Carried. Government-owned enterprises 2,419,111,973,716 are carried. Schedules again. Others, education tax force, signature bonuses, and the rest. 346,582,356,117 naira carried. You say? I thought I'm going to somebody's. Huh? You want me? I should be faster. Statutory transfers 103,288,086,917 naira carried. National Assembly Well, on this, there are various offers to every agency. Inauguration outgoing coming 30 billion. What? Huh? You say? I don't know the page. They look at it now. Go 389 106. Captain wannan damon ne kenan ko? Captain wannan damon. National Assembly maganin su kawo last one inauguration. Sai da balance din. Well, colleagues, 30 billion 173 million 520,000 592 naira carried. Okay.
We have carried the parts, part A to M, under the schedule. So we just go straight to the total, the last page. The last page. Because you'll be repeating it. What? They just gave details.
Well, colleagues, to fast track, we have carried a summary. So these are the details. 397. Go to page 397. It's not normal. The one we are going is money bill. What you know?
397. Take the capital, the total capital, total capital.
Respected colleagues, total capital supplementation 842 billion 500 million 746,399 carried. Total capital expenditure 5 trillion 972 billion 734 million 926,421 naira carried. Aggregate expenditure 21 trillion 827 billion 188 million 747,391 naira carried. Thank you. Explanatory memoranda carried. Do we have long title? Yes. Long title. Leader, move that the House do revert to plan to report progress.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second that the House, since you have moved already, to second that the House do revert.
This is the fastest.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that the House do revert to plenary to report progress. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Yes, sir.
Arise, Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, to second the motion ably moved by the great leader of the great House. I so second.
Osai, you know the faithful want to die in an honorable manner with their faith, and they are exiting, and you are exiting with honors. You should thank your God. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's habit. As the chair about to revert plan to report progress. Chinyere, Igwe, I will stop our deal. I should stop. I should stop. Thank you. Respected colleagues, The House in the Committee of Supply considered a report on a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2023 to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of the Appropriation Act 2022, from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023, and for related matters, amend, approve clauses 1 to 3, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. The House in the Committee of the Supply considered the report of Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 21,827,188,747,391 naira only, of which 960,486,010,536 naira only is voluntary transfers, while 6,597,611,797 naira only is for debt service. 8,329,371,195,637 naira only is for the current non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,972,939,421 naira only is for a contribution to the Development Fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on the 31st December 2023, and approve recommendations 1 to 13, the schedules part A to M, the explanatory memoranda, and the long title of the bill. Leader, move for the adoption of the report of the Committee of Supply.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, distinguished senator, but in the Green Chamber, Senator Munguno, I rise to move that the report of the House Committee on Supply be adopted, Mr. Speaker. Which order? Who is talking order? I repeat, Senator.
He say, Senator, inshallah.
Senator.
He say, inshallah.
Inshallah.
No,
Senator.
That's not
Senator
the normal,
Ground.
that's not the proper nomenclature. It's an inappropriate nomenclature.
No, Marty Leader, in the spirit of teamwork, nation building. You say?
I'm moving that.
Oh, it's one side.
I'm moving that 2 weeks should turn to 4 weeks. I'm in support of a second to 4 weeks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain Honorable Ndode Godwin Eluvelu, and I represent the good people of Anyocho Shimilifera constituency. I'm from Delta State. Bearing in mind that I may not have the opportunity to talk to my colleagues, let me wish you Happy New Year and formidable campaign. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, and having said that, let me second the motion moved by the House Leader that we do adopt the report from the Committee of Supply. I so second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against, say nay. The ayes have it. Chairman rules. Move that we suspend our rules. First, to enable you to take the third reading of the amendment that we just passed for the extension of period for the appropriation implementation for the year 2022 to 31st March 2023.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Samflata. I represent Brunei Agrika Sama Good Defender Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that we do suspend our extant rules to enable us to take third reading and adopt the votes and proceedings of today's sitting. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Vote and proceeding, but the third reading of the bills, the financial bill will pass,
yes, sir.
the Appropriation Act, and the, thank you, all the bills.
Yes, take third reading.
Thank you.
Third reading of all the bills considered today.
Thank
and
you.
also adopt the votes and proceedings of today's sitting. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Elder, so that we run away from the 5 kg.
At least, thank you, our wonderful speaker. At least with that, you know that I'm here. My colleagues, I rise to second that motion ably moved by the philosopher of the House. For that, I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Anayo.
The best thing.
I will soon do that. Putting our house in order. Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The next business of the day is the third reading of the bill for an act to amend the relevant tax excise and duty status in line with the microeconomic policy reforms of the federal government of Nigeria to amend to make further provisions in specific laws in connection with the public financial management of the Federation and for related matters. I now invite the leader of the House to move that the bill be read a third time. Leader, you may take alongside the third reading of the bill for an act to authorize the issue from the revenue fund of the Federal Revenue Service, the total sum of 259,510,955 naira only, for which 70,912,538 naira only is for personnel costs, while the sum of 96,061,565,065 naira only is for overhead costs, and the sum of 40,820,330,352 naira only is for capital expenditure for the service year ending December 2023. And then lastly, is from the consolidated revenue as presented. That's the appropriation I will just pass. It's lengthy, so I will allow you to take the three. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I remain Ado Dogwa, Mr. Speaker, representing Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, for the need of time, Mr. Speaker, and to save our legislative time, Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I would like to apply, as you leave, that I rise to move that the 5 bills we have taken in the Committee of Supply be taken the third time. Mr. Speaker, I so move as read. Thank you.
Adejari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much. I still remain Honorable Dr. Samuel Babatunde Adejari. I speak for the wonderful people of Agege Federal Constituency and from Lagos State. I stand to second the motion as moved by the majority leader. I so second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk is invited to read the long title for the bills.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the relevant tax, excises and duty statutes in line with the macroeconomic policy reforms of the federal government to amend and make further provision in specific laws in connection with the public financial management of the Federation and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to issue from the statutory revenue fund of the Federal Inland Revenue Service the total sum of 262,959,510,955 naira only, out of which 126,070,912,538 naira only is for personnel cost, while the total sum of 96,061,565,065 naira only is for overhead costs, and the sum of 40,827,033,352 naira only is for capital expenditure for the service year ending 31st December 2023. Third reading. A bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund the total sum of 819,536,937,813 naira only. For the following subheads: Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, 69,247,175,770. Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, 704,789,762 and 43. Federal Capital Territory, 30 billion. Federal Ministry of Water Resources, 15,500,000,000 naira only for the third reading. A bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 21,827,188,747,391 naira only, of which 967,486,010,536 naira only is for statutory transfers. 6,557,597,611,797 naira only is for debt service. 8,329,370,195,637,000 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 5,972,734,929 naira 421 is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st day of December 2023. Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2022 to extend the implementation of the capital aspect of Appropriation Act 2022 from 31st December 2022 to 31st March 2023. Third reading.
Bill read the third time and passed. Chairman rules and business move that we suspend our rules to enable us adopt the votes and proceedings of today.
No, you moved. I've already moved.
No.
Well,
the direction is supposed to be taken from the chair, not from that side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I am Abubakar Samfulata. I represent Briniwak, Krika Sama, Gudi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Jigawa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I move that we do suspend our excellent rules to enable us adopt the votes and proceedings of today's sitting. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I thought my colleagues would allow me to call members of APC. No, that we have members of PAPC. Yes, PAPC. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. No, he recognized me, not PAPC. No. No. Mr. Speaker. Is that above you now? Can you move your motion? Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I am Chinyere Igwe, PhD. Mr. Speaker, I represent Port Harcourt in this hallowed chamber. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable Fulata, the Chairman of Rules and Business, and I'm a member of PDP. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Igwe, don't denounce what we are doing with you. You'll be on your own. Thank you.
You must be careful. you can.
Well, I think you should understand now that APC is moving very fast, and you can see how we are enlarging. The number is getting larger and larger. A clear sign to 2023.
APC is a cancer.
We're going to help APC. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it. What's the point of order? On the motion?
Your statement before the last one is not part of the House proceedings. It should be deleted from the votes and proceedings. I so move.
Leader, move that the House do adopt the votes of proceedings of today.
Mr. Speaker, honorable members.
I think, Leader,
yes, sir.
Invite our brother. It will be better for him to come to this side. He has more cover, more platform, and more security for his people.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I concur.
Unless you will stop borrowing. Unless you will stop borrowing, then.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to concur with the submissions you made, that you are better off with us than on the other side. I beg to concur with Mr. Speaker that Right Honorable Toby Ikechuku, not you, Toby, you are rather better off with us than the other side.
Mr.
Speaker
Speaker is wrong.
You will be protected. And you must not deny what we agreed in private, and you deny it in public. You must not deny what we agreed in private and deny it in public.
Which private room?
You must be careful.
Mr. Speaker is my
He's going to
man.
London.
So whatever I discuss with Mr. Speaker is not on party, on personal, individual. Mr. Speaker, Aluta.
On your own. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move as directed that we do adopt the votes and proceedings for today for the obvious reasons. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Yes, Olubumi. Olubumi.
Oh God.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, Odebomi Shegun is my name. I represent the good people of Surulere Golua Federal Constituency, area for your state. I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague. I so second.
Respected colleagues, those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's it. Leader, move for the adjournment of the House.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I also would like to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to thank honorable members for the cooperation they have extended to the leadership and to the Committee on Appropriation that today we have passed the appropriation bill which I believe is going to be for the larger interest of our constituents and Nigerians at large. And on that note, Mr. Speaker, I do rise very specially today to move that this Honorable House do adjourn till 17th of January 2022 by 11 a.m. Inshallah, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move. Mr. Speaker, 2023.
Thank you. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I remain honorable to the Godwin Elubelu. And once again, appreciating our colleagues for being very, very supportive for the year 2022. Thanking God for seeing us through. I want to rise to second and also thanking the House Leader who have worked very, very, very well in carrying the House, and also thank Mr. Speaker and the Deputy Speaker for the kind of leadership that were provided to the Ninth Assembly in 2022. Let me profusely also thank all the support staff, the clerk, the deputy clerk, and every supporting staff for 2022, and of course the cameramen and the media. Let me say that we love all of you and we wish you a prosperous 2023. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion moved by the House Leader that will do adjourn to 17th of January 2023. I so second.
Minority Leader, I think for the media people to which I am a member, by extension, you must go beyond verbal commendation. Please. My people must be commended, both by words and in action.
Well, thank you very much, colleagues. On behalf of the Speaker leadership, I want to thank you immensely for the uncommon cooperation and wish you Happy New Year, a good holiday, successful campaign. May God help all of us. We want to thank the members of management again and all the support staff. Thank you very much. We so appreciate. Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. The ayes have it. House is hereby adjourned to 2018. 17th January 2023.